day about, growing up. And, you see my last video. Told you what this station is going to be about. It's going to be talking about mother and daughter relationships. Things that make you really think about the relationships that kind of go south. I can remember very early on, my mother and I, we just didn't see eye to eye. And that wasn't unusual because I pretty much really on some real stuff felt like a stranger in my own house because I was closer to my older sister Doretha, but she left home when I was a teenager. But even then, I spent more time with my Aunt B's children. And it was very rare that you would see me with my own siblings. I can remember that very vividly. Very rare. Coming up. And I didn't understand that, and I'm kind of looking back on those things, like, as you journey through. My mom had a lot of issues, but in our family, we didn't talk about like issues. We didn't talk about situations. We didn't talk about, what's bothering you. We didn't talk about why do you feel that way, or why do you respond that way. That was not a conversation. And so, with that being said, I remember as a little girl, I would fantasize a lot. I would, I loved family. I mean, probably because my family structure was kind of messed up in a lot of ways. And those things like really troubled me because in my mind, watching certain things made me want to escape my own reality. Like when I seen it, like I love the Cosby Show, and I even love the Cosby Show to this day because that type of structure is something that I always wanted. But that wasn't my story. And I remember, me and my mom not really getting along. We wasn't like buddy. Like as I got older, I started to see different relationships with mothers and daughters. And I was like, wow, that's a trip because my relationship has never been that. My relationship has never been that one of like, let's go to lunch, let's go out. We never did things like that. I was always, we were in survival mode. We were always, trying to escape home. And I remember, I don't remember a lot about childhood. When I say childhood, I don't remember a lot of things like before maybe 10 years old. I don't, it's like a big blur. I can't remember those things coming up. You know what I mean? And the struggle was real. Like, I remember trying to understand me in this house of complete and utter dysfunction. I'm trying to understand me, and I didn't understand, and I'm not talking about my sisters or my older brother or whatever. I could never ever understand why my two brothers did not like me for nothing. I couldn't grasp at why that was. And I remember, trying my hardest to be but I don't know how to explain it. But I gravitated more towards my B and her kids because the acceptance was like, unmatched. We just clicked, my cousin Dina, she, I was always with her. My cousin Dina and my cousin Anna, we're always together. And I remember, even as a teenager, being with them, and my cousin Morris. I mean, we were like two peas in a pod. It was just, I like to dance. They were street dancers. I like to dance or whatever. And I don't remember me and my mom ever having like real deep conversations about anything. And that, as I got older, and then I started to deal with different young ladies because I had a dance team and dealing with these different young ladies, and everything that I longed to have, that's what I presented to them. And it was, it was like if someone protected me, this is how it would look. If someone sat down and took time with me, this is how it would look. And over the years, to try to really build that out, try to really, operate in that. And even in that, we struggle, because of just not understanding that relationship takes lots of work. And if you don't work on relationship, then you're not gonna have a foundation to build on as the years go on. It's just like, you don't see me, I don't see you, we don't understand each other because we didn't take time to master who one another was in our lives, if that kind of makes sense. But if we could have mastered, when I was younger, I remember times as being so angry at my mother that it was beyond natural. It was just like, oh my goodness, it was so intense on so many levels. I remember one time, as a teenager, I don't even think I was a teenager yet. Let me. I know I was double digits, but I know I wasn't quite 13, anything like that. And I remember walking down the street, and I remember going to my uncle's church, and I remember this man stopped, and I thought it was my cousin Vermont because he had this big afro. His hair was kind of reddish or brownish or something like that. And I remember getting in a truck with this guy, and as we were going down the street, something about him was not right. And I happened to look over and take a deeper look. I mean, and when I looked, his hand was on my thigh. And I was like, I'm a little kid, so I was like, what in the world? Like, what is going on? I'm going crazy. And I remember after jumping, I think it was at a light, I jumped out, ran to the church. I don't think anybody was there, at least nobody there that I would talk to, because I wasn't that type of personality. And I remember getting home and telling this story, and nothing. It was no response, no, like, why is this? What were you doing? No police report, no checking to see if anything was right or wrong with me. I don't remember anything of the sort ever happening. There was never nothing. And that was just normal. Like normal. Like no recourse for what this guy had done. There was like no nothing. So I remember that those like little things are like no no consequences for like what happens to you. And I remember that so clear. I remember that so clear that this there was like no repercussions for this kind of behavior. And that was the beginning of like different cycles of things that would happen, as time went on. Those was constant things that would go down, and you'd be like, oh no, there's just one more thing, one more little stab in your heart, and you just like, what in the world? And I remember, at one point, I'm gonna jump around on this channel, like from different things that would hit me, that would trigger me to have these conversations. And I remember as a teenager, we had lost our house. I think it was like 16 or something like that. I kind of bounced around a lot of different places. Not foster care, but just bouncing around. And this is not bash my mom. This is me telling my story.